In Sanatan Dharma, we do not look down upon any creature. And when it comes to animals, our history speaks volumes about our love for animals. Animals ranging from mice to lions to eagles, they all hold significant importance in our rich history. In fact, Bhagwan Vishnu, in his quest to preserve the trend of respecting all creatures, even took the forms of various part animals himself. Be it Narsimha, the half-man and half-lion wonder, or be it Matsya with his fish form, Vishnu set an example that all creatures are important, despite their size and appearance. And still today, true Hindus all across the world take immense pride in showering their respects to animals. Hindus treat all creatures with respect. That's simply just the way of life. That's the way of Sanatan Dharma. This is how Hindus work. And this is the power that no one can defeat. No one. But why am I telling you this? Well, I'm telling you this because in this video, I will tell you how Bhagwan Vishnu made sure that Islamic plunderers never got hold of one of the richest temples in the world, that is, the Tirumala Temple. Hi and welcome. You're watching TFI English, the national socio-political analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm Siddharth, your host. In this video, I will talk about the story behind the Tirumala Mandir and how it evaded the capture by the cruel and tyrant Muslim invaders. Let's begin. After Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the newly developed Kashi Vishwanath corridor on December 13, calls have been raised about realizing the glory of captured temples converted to masjids by the Mughal plunderers. When the Mughals came to India, they established dominance by demolishing Hindu temples. Scores of temples were razed to the ground, but the Islamic invaders could not lay their hands upon one temple, and that is Tirumala Temple. The temple town of Tirupati is situated at the foot of Tirumala Hills in the Chandragiri Taluka of Chittoor district in Andhra Pradesh. The sacred spot on the hill is about 2,800 feet above sea level and is known as Tirumala, or the abode of Bhagwan Venkateshwar. The reason the Islamic marauders could not ransack or raze the Tirumala temple has a deep story behind it, and a rather interesting one at it. It all starts with Maharishi Brighu. He was one of the 7 great seers or Saptarishis who played an important role in the propagation and popularity of the Vedic Dharma. Brighu Maharshi was an extremely well-learned man, but the only drawback was his temper. Once, some rishis headed by Kashyap began to perform a yajna on the banks of Ganga. Narad Muni, the first journalist of the world, visited them and asked them why they were performing the yajna and who would be pleased by it. Not having the answer at their disposal, Narad Muni suggested that the rishis call upon Brighu Maharshi, who would then decide who out of the Trimurti, that is Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwar, will be the most qualified to receive the offerings and honors in the yajna. Brighu Maharshi arrived and agreed to the task. He set sail and first arrived in the Brahmalok to meet Bhagwan Brahma. However, Brahma, attended by Devi Saraswati playing the veena and chanting divine hymns, could not hear Brighu Maharshi. Enraged that his presence was not even acknowledged, Brighu deemed Bhagwan Brahma unfit for receiving the offering from the rishis and cursed him. Brighu said that no one will worship Brahma on planet Earth, and that is possibly the reason why one rarely sees a Brahma temple anywhere around even today. Still angry, Brighu left Brahmalok and ventured toward Kailasa, the abode of Mahadev Shiv, where he resides with his wife Devi Parvati. Akin to Brahma, Bhagwan Shiv was busy tending to Parvati Devi, involved in a beautiful nritya in the Ardhanarishwar form. Brighu Maharshi, after failing to grab Mahadev's attention, cursed Ashutosh Bhagwan Shiv, stating that he will only be worshipped as a lingam. Now, you must not conflict the lingam with the male reproductory part, as most left liberals, Christians and Islamists would like one to believe. Anyway, afterwards the sage got up and left for Vaikuntham to meet Vishnu, where he saw him sitting on Adisesha with Sri Mahalakshmi by his side. Vishnu was in Yoga Nidra, and despite Brighu's insistence to Lakshmi Devi to wake him up, she did not do the same. Infuriated that he was being ignored again, Sage Brighu kicked Vishnu square on his chest, the place where Mahalakshmi resides. Vishnu woke up while Lakshmi grew angry. Instead of cursing the sage, Vishnu got up and pacified the enraged rishi by making him sit on the Adisesha. He apologized to Brighu Maharshi for inadvertently ignoring him and took the sage's leg and started to massage it so as to alleviate his pain. In doing so, Vishnu removed the mutant eye in the foot of the sage, which signified his ego, thereby stripping him of his unwarranted temper driven by his ego. After seeing the prowess of Vishnu firsthand, Sage Brighu acknowledged him as the best of the three and the most qualified to receive the offerings and honors of the yajna. After asking for forgiveness and receiving one from Bhagwan Vishnu, Brighu Maharshi departed, having done his job. However, watching the entire incident unfold before her eyes and her resting place on Vishnu's chest being defiled, Sri Mahalakshmi became furious and left Vaikuntham for Mrityulok, that is earth, and resided in the modern-day Kolhapur. After the departure of Mahalakshmi, a forlorn Bhagwan Vishnu left Vaikuntham and descended to earth. In his true divine form, he placed his first foot on the Tirumala hills, took abode in an anthill under a tamarind tree, meditating for the return of Mahalakshmi without food or sleep. In the end, Vishnu returned to Vaikuntham with Devi Lakshmi and Padmavati Devi. However, before leaving, Vishnu collected his followers on earth and informed them that whenever devotees come to worship him on Tirumala hills, they should first take a bath in the Pushkarni and pay their respects to Bhagwan Varaha Swami, one of Bhagwan Vishnu's previous reincarnations. The puja and naivedyam should be offered to Varahaswami first, and then the devotee can traverse through the dense jungle and stairs all the way to the hilltop temple. Bhagwan Vishnu foreshadowed the Islamic invaders who would later descend upon Bharat and Tirupati to plunder the temples. However, passing through the villages, the Islamic invaders asked about the Tirumala Temple. When told to perform the ritual and the way to reach the temple, they asked who Varahaswami was. The villagers showed Varahaswami's murti, and the Islamists, seeing a boar, immediately threw their hands up in disgust and returned to their burrow holes. This is because in Islam, pigs and boars are considered haram, and Muslims all over the world flinch in disgust just at the sight of these lovely creatures even today. They vowed to come back, but could never complete the conquest of the pious temple compounds. And that is how the Tirumala Temple escaped the clutches of Mughal invaders. To this date, the devotees first have to pray to Bhagwan Varaha Swami before moving towards the main temple. Bhagwan Vishnu, through his reincarnation, ensured that the Hindus managed to preserve their culture and their heritage. The redevelopment of Kashi Vishwanath has made the Islamists go berserk. Now imagine if Hindus started to construct Sri Varahaswami temples across India. The outrage would be immense.